Imagine spending a whole month exploring a new country, immersing yourself in a different culture, and creating memories that will last a lifetime. Now, imagine doing all of that for just $1,000. It sounds impossible, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not. Today, I'm going to show you how to plan a month-long trip on a budget of just $1,000. I've done it myself several times, and I'm going to share all my secrets with you. So, if you're ready to turn your travel dreams into a reality, you're in the right place. First things first, let's talk about the most important factor in planning a budget trip: your destination. $1,000 will go a lot further in some countries than in others. You're not going to be able to spend a month in Switzerland or Norway on this budget, but you can have an incredible time in countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Nepal, Bolivia, or Colombia. The key is to choose a destination where the cost of living is low. Do your research and find a country that interests you and that fits within your budget. I recommend using websites like Numbeo to compare the cost of living in different countries. Once you've chosen your destination, the next biggest expense to tackle is your flight. This is where a large portion of your budget will go, so it's important to find the cheapest flight possible. I've already made a whole video on how to save money on flights, so I won't go into too much detail here. But the key is to be flexible with your travel dates, to book in advance, and to use flight comparison websites to find the best deals. For a month-long trip, you should aim to spend no more than $300 to $400 on your flight. That leaves you with $600 to $700 for your expenses for the month, which is about $20 to $23 a day. Now, let's talk about accommodation. This is another area where you can save a lot of money. As I've mentioned in previous videos, there are plenty of ways to find free or cheap accommodation while traveling. For a month-long trip, I highly recommend looking into house sitting or volunteering opportunities. These options will give you free accommodation, which will free up a huge chunk of your budget. If you can't find a house sitting or volunteering gig, then hostels are your next best bet. You can find a bed in a dorm room for as little as $5 to $10 a night in many parts of the world. That means you'll be spending between $150 and $300 on accommodation for the month, which is very manageable. Next up, let's talk about food. This is another area where you can save a lot of money if you're smart about it. The key is to eat like a local. Avoid touristy restaurants and eat at local street food stalls and markets. The food is often more authentic, more delicious, and much, much cheaper. In many parts of Southeast Asia, you can get a delicious and filling meal for just a couple of dollars. Another great way to save money on food is to cook your own meals. If you're staying in a hostel or an Airbnb with a kitchen, you can buy groceries at a local market and cook your own food. This is not only cheaper, but it's also a great way to experience the local food culture. Now, let's talk about transportation. Once you're in your destination, you'll need to get around. The cheapest way to do this is to use public transportation. Buses, trains, and metros are almost always cheaper than taxis or ride-sharing apps. In many cities, you can buy a monthly pass that will give you unlimited travel on public transportation for a set price. This is a great way to save money if you're planning on doing a lot of exploring. Another great way to get around is to walk. Walking is free, it's good for you, and it's a great way to see a city at a slower pace. Next, let's talk about activities. This is where you'll be spending the rest of your budget. The key is to find free or cheap activities to do. Many cities have free walking tours, which are a great way to see the sights and learn about the history of a place. You can also visit parks, museums on their free admission days, and local markets. And don't forget about the simple pleasures of just wandering around and getting lost in a new city. Some of my best travel memories are from the times when I just wandered around without a plan and stumbled upon hidden gems. So, let's put it all together. Here's a sample budget for a month-long trip on $1,000. Let's say you're traveling to Vietnam. Your flight costs $400. That leaves you with $600 for the month, or $20 a day. You're staying in hostels, so you're spending $10 a night on accommodation. That's $300 for the month. That leaves you with $300 for food, transportation, and activities, or $10 a day. You're eating street food for most of your meals, which costs you about $5 a day. That leaves you with $5 a day for transportation and activities. You're using public transportation and doing a lot of free activities, so you're able to stick to your budget. I know that $20 a day doesn't sound like a lot, but in many parts of the world, it's more than enough to have an incredible time. The key is to be mindful of your spending and to make smart choices. It's also important to have a contingency fund in case of emergencies. I always recommend having at least a couple of $100s set aside for unexpected expenses. Planning a month-long trip on $1,000 is not only possible, but it's also an incredibly rewarding experience. It forces you to be creative, to be resourceful, and to connect with the local culture on a deeper level. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that's well worth taking. I hope this video has shown you that you don't need to be rich to travel the world. With a little bit of planning and a lot of creativity, you can have the adventure of a lifetime on a budget of just $1,000. So, what are you waiting for? Start planning your trip today. Have you ever done a long-term trip on a tight budget? I'd love to hear your stories and tips in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Travel with Mila for more budget travel inspiration. Until next time, happy travels! Let's break down that $20 a day budget a bit more. In a country like Vietnam, a dorm bed can be as cheap as $5. A delicious street food meal of peat cho or a banh mi sandwich can be just $1–2. A local beer might be less than $1. So you can see how $20 a day is not just surviving, but actually enjoying yourself. Of course, you'll have days where you spend more, perhaps on a tour or a nice dinner, but you'll also have days where you spend very little, maybe just on food. It's all about balance. The key is to track your spending. I use a simple notes app on my phone to jot down everything I spend. It helps me stay accountable and ensures I don't overspend. There are also great budgeting apps out there like Trail Wallet or Trebi Pocket that are designed specifically for travelers. They can help you track your spending by category and see where your money is going. This is a crucial habit to develop if you want to stick to a tight budget. It might seem tedious at first, but it quickly becomes second nature. And the reward is being able to travel for longer and have more amazing experiences.